Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Welcome to the week. I am recording this on the coast. Maybe you can hear the ocean in the background. Drinking out of a funky mug as only guest houses can provide, straight out of some decade that's not this decade. This is a big week, you guys. Do I say that a lot? Whoops. And yet it is, because we have eclipse season beginning, and we are always needing to be aware of what's needing to be let go of and what's needing to be built up. To me, that's what eclipse season really tries to teach us, that there is a north node and a south node. These are what we call the nodes of fate. That's why eclipse season is such a big deal, because it has that fated vibey vibes to it. This is going to be a lunar eclipse in Pisces. It's energy that we have felt before, you guys. This isn't new, but what I love about eclipse season is that it helps us let go better, easier. It helps the themes in our life feel familiar. It helps us to see patterns. It helps us to see our shortcomings, but hopefully with it being in Pisces, in a gentler way. That's this weekend. It's in Pisces. High road of Pisces is resting, is crying when you need to, is feeling into the unknown, is being able to touch what is unquantifiable. This is a good time to get a reading from your local astrologer. Me. Because knowing where this falls in your chart is really interesting when you are trying to glean perspective on the things that are going on in your life right now. Piscean themes are about our intuition, our spirit, our things that aren't as tangible. And low road of Pisces is addiction, is evasion, is secrecy, is not being able to come back to reality, is over daydreaming in a destructive kind of way, is just wanting to check out. I am someone who was raised with two parents who were Pisces, and I watched Piscean energy play out into very different ways. My mom was Piscean in a very private way. She loved napping. That bitch could nap, all right? Like, she never met a nap she didn't like. And she dreamed a lot, and she was very witchy and very tapped into spirit and very magical. And she had a lot of high road in that she could channel, that she could do tarot cards, that she always knew when I wasn't my best or something was going on, even if I tried to keep it from her. And her low road was she wanted to check out early, and she did. Like, real life was really hard for her, being tapped in. So if you are a Pisces, or you have strong Pisces in your chart, or this eclipse is hitting you personally, you know, that feeling of reality bites, bro. Like, that feeling of wanting to check out, that feeling of wanting to escape. And maybe you have some patterns or some habits of wanting that. And then I click over to my dad, who is the kind of Pisces who had big dreams. He was a theater guy. He is now a lawyer, so he kind of spun his dream of theater into a practical career. He, wants to be out there, but in a very intangible kind of way. You can never tell what kind of turn up my dad's gonna do. He likes to escape. He loves to go golf. He loves to go places. He now has a partner who's traveling all the time, and so he travels all the time. So it's this notion of, they were both Pisces. My dad, still a Pisces. But how that energy plays out in life is your own special sauce. Like, how we imbue our Piscean energy this week is going to be very personal to you, to how you view your intuitive knowing, to how you escape reality or not, to how you want to plug in. Because as eclipse season builds, Virgo energy, which is its opposite, is wanting us to rebuild more structurally. The intangibleness of life has maybe felt a little out of control. Saturn's been there, and then Saturn went direct and moved on to Aries. But now this week too, Saturn is retrograde going back into Pisces. So we kind of have this like principal's office vibe during this lunar eclipse, being like, are you doing this right? Are you letting go properly? Are you actually willing to trust in the right way? Like Saturn can be kind of a wet blanket, but I kind of enjoy him here this week because there is this notion of you will be rewarded for getting it. Like, you know, as adults, we don't get grades anymore. We don't get big birthday parties that we don't have to plan. We don't get celebrated for our successes the same way that I feel our youthful selves did. So I get this intuitive hit that here comes Saturn to maybe give us an adulty reward. Like we get a proverbial cookie, you guys, for really feeling into this energy and really feeling where our dreams can become tangible, or where our intangible dreams need to kind of get composted into something else. It doesn't mean that if a dream didn't work out or if a soulmate search didn't come to fruition, that we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Oh my God, that idiom. Do you know where that idiom comes from? It was because back when we only had like our weekly or God forbid monthly bath, and by the time like the dad did the bathing first, and then it went down the tier and the baby was the last one to get the bath, and the water was so dark from all the dirt that you couldn't always see the baby in the bath, so you had to make sure. So that's where don't throw the baby out with the bathwater comes in. Totally lost my train of thought. Anyway, like it's not that your dreams can't work. It's that don't throw the dream out with the bathwater, okay? Because whatever's been muddled is here to be sifted through. If you guys are watching this video, do you see my partner? He's right there. He's dreaming his own dreamy dreams out there right now. Don't let go of your dreams, but do let go of the places and vibes that don't work for those dreams, or get a little more realistic about what intuitive hits you're getting. How can you bring reality and your daydreams together? How can they merge together? And what do we need to let go of in order to get to that place? If this isn't sounding super clear, welcome to Pisces vibes, all right? It cannot be clear all the time. But this week, there's a lot of other information coming in. You know, Saturn going back into Pisces happens today. It's happening today. It's Monday. So there's already this notion of back to work, back to school, back to these things. And our Pisces energy is like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do that. So we have Labor Day weekend, at least here. So nothing going on today. However, the looming something going on is here. And how do you want to reshape that? How do you want to reorient that? How do you want to look at the work of your life in a different way? Because it's a review too. So it's like, what have I been doing? What has been working? What has not been working? And how do I set myself up for success? So that's Monday, though it continues on. So you'll be feeling it indefinitely for a while. And then Tuesday, Mercury goes into Virgo. Love this for us, because Mercury going into Virgo is a conversation and a nod to the eclipse that's going on in Pisces, because Pisces opposite is Virgo. And eclipse season, we're working in both of those opposition signs. We're working in how do we get organized versus I don't wanna. And how do we learn how to whistle while we work? How do we learn to dream ourselves awake? How do we learn to mesh these energies so that we aren't being too lackadaisical, but we're not being too rigid either in how we are approaching the next phase of our lives? So in this way, there is a big feeling of beginning, but there is also a big feeling of endings too. And I want you to close your eyes and for a moment, and if you were driving, don't close your eyes. I want you to think about for a moment, what has been feeling old, stale, stagnant to you in your life? What isn't working? And then I also want you to think of what dreams you haven't been attending to. And how do those two things come together? Because sometimes what's not working in our lives are a really big indicator of what dreams need to seep through, of what new intuitive places we can access in order to move the dial slightly. It's very important that we don't give up here, because this is one of those fork in the road moments that feel like an ending, but it's actually a beginning. And so cry, let go, release, allow what got broken, allow what you are disappointed in yourself for, allow the, adultiness to come flooding in, because we start our lives with such lucidity around anything being possible. That's what being a child is about. That's what our imagination develops inside of us. But where did it go? It's still there. It's still inside of us. The truth is, though, that intrinsically we have to be willing to let go of our imaginary friends in order to build the real ones. So, in adult life, that is, we need to let go of certain parts of our lives that we've been very attached to, and so we haven't changed it, and so it's gotten old and it's gotten shitty and it needs to go. You need to be able to compost and integrate failures and things that aren't working. And it's just as important to acknowledge those things and thank them and integrate them and grow through them, instead of just seeing them as these road markers of ways in which your life never worked out. What a horrible perspective. If I pontificated on all of the ways that I let myself down and failed, I don't know that I would be able to get up, because I have failed so much, you guys. I have gone to 7 trade schools. I have done so many things. I have been out with lanterns searching for myself for so many years that if I came to you today found, that'd be dope. But I'm gonna, spoiler alert you and say that I am not. I am mayhaps more lost than I've ever been in certain ways. But this Pisces eclipse season, especially being raised with Pisces, reminds me that there is always another side of the story. There is always a plot twist, you guys. There is always a fork in the road that will lead me somewhere different, new. But if I'm not willing to answer that call, if I'm not willing to reorient myself, if I choose to stay stuck, then nothing's gonna change. If I'm looking for a solution and my excuse is, well, I've tried everything. Well, all right, then the universe is going to be like, you tried everything. What do you want me to do about it? You can't get stuck in being a victim, because Pisces Virgo is very being of service versus being martyred, victimized. And how do you want to portray yourself to yourself? This is a really big concept, and it's very Piscean. I feel my vibe feels very Piscean right now, because I can't put my finger on any one person or any journey that needs to be completed or begun, not even in my life. But I can say for us, for a collective, that we have to be willing. That what I would really like this week to be for you is a way in which you're not just looking at the horizon to get to the end of it, that you're enjoying the rainbow itself, because there's so many tales about rainbows, there being a pot of gold at the end, or there being some beautiful thing there, and so we travel to there, but there is no there. The rainbow is just a big metaphor that comes after storms to show us that there is light and dark in equal measure all around us all the time. And so I want you to be here muddled with me. I want you to imagine yourself being in the soup of your life and just trusting that whatever emotion needs to come up this week, whatever needs to be said this week, whatever needs working through is gonna do it. It's gonna be here. You're not gonna have to go searching for it. It's all here. But really what the ask is to be willing to surrender to it, to be willing to be honest with it, to be willing to put down the story around it, to be able to just feel it. Because that's how you really let go. And a lunar eclipse in Pisces needs us to let go of these preconceived stories that our inner children told us, that our hurt self told us, that our broken up with self told us, that our lost our job self told us. There are so many limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves because we want to protect ourselves from more failure, or we want to protect ourselves from more pain. But if you allow the pain to control you this way, then you are always going to feel it. It's going to be a leaky sink that never gets tightened. And Virgo eclipse wants to come in and say, tighten it. Just tighten the leak. Where are you leaking energy because the story didn't go how you wanted it to? Okay, that means it's time for a new chapter, and that can feel scary and at first can feel limiting because it takes away what you thought you were building. I mean, how many of you in your youth tried to build a house of cards, and that moment when you reach such great heights that it's just the one card you put on top that collapses the whole thing? And there is a feeling when something falls apart like that. When a Lego you've been building all day, all of a sudden you hold it the wrong way and it breaks. That the inhalation of panic, of it all fell apart. And Pisces eclipse season this weekend wants your out breath. It wants you to let go. Because if all you're gonna think about is the house you had built but didn't complete, then you'll never start building again. Then you'll never be inspired to do it again. So whatever failure or whatever fear or whatever pain is on your shoulder this weekend, I want you to feel it all the way through. And I don't want you to give up on that feeling. I want you to allow it to feel like it could wreck you maybe for a minute. But then I want you to have that out breath. By all means, have the, I can't believe that happened, or I can't believe that didn't work out, or I can't believe this is where I am at this place in my life. Believe me, my friends. If someone had told me this is where I was going to be in my life at this age, I'd be in-breathing forever. But here I am and here I sit, and I know that there is another place that I can go to and another path that is waiting for me, so long as I'm willing to let go of the things that didn't work, that aren't working, that won't work. And also to forgive myself for the way in which I wasn't able to make certain parts of my life work the way I had wanted them to. Whew, whew. Are you feeling it? Does this feel big? That's eclipse season, baby. That's what it wants. It wants us to feel the bigness of not only ourselves, but of the world. That one choice you made, that one heartbreak you have isn't the end all and be all. It's just a bookmark. And guess what? Bookmarks hold your place. That's what they do. Bookmarks are holding the place where you are. And the only way to have something different is to turn the page. The bookmark's not going anywhere until you start writing your next chapter, until you start reading, until you start moving. That's the only way to move the bookmark dial. So do that, but also honor and grieve and allow what is hurting right now this weekend. That's what this weekend is about. It's composting, it's integrating, it's letting go. And I know we're only at Monday. You got a whole week of stuff to get through to get to that point. But I want to build you up for it so that whatever is starting to bubble, toil, and trouble inside of you is doing it for a reason. It's doing it because it wants attention. It's doing it because it wants to be let go of. And Mercury going into Virgo is really powerful in that way because Mercury, Virgo's ruled by Mercury. So it's in its home place. It's in a place where it can sort itself. So trust it. Trust that you can sort yourself no matter how deep, no matter how stuck that bookmark is. Okay, and then Wednesday, the day after it goes into Virgo, it's going to square Uranus. So big change, big conversations, big somethings in the world, technology might get a little wonky and jacked. So be aware of that paradox, expect it, but also expect it in your conversations. Expect there to be a way in which what we're saying is changing everything. Wow. And allow that to percolate. And then Thursday, Mars is going to square Jupiter. So there's this warrior energy that's going to come and square Jupiter that's asking us where the excess in our lives needs to be warriored away, to leave room for more abundance. It's that notion of when you're willing to get rid of clothes, more clothes comes to you. I just cleaned out my closet and my cousin texted me and was like, I have 2 bags of shirts for you. So look at that. Whatever I let go came right back. And maybe as something fresher, maybe as something nicer. I love the way my cousin smells. Don't get creepy vibes from that. She's my family. It's okay. I love her smell. So anytime I get her shirts, it's this reintegration into what feels familiar and yet new. It's dope. Okay? That's my example. I don't care what you think about it. And then Friday, Uranus goes retrograde, and currently it's in Gemini. So Uranus is in the mix. Uranus is our planet of big change. Uranus is wanting us to review what hasn't been working, what needs to change. Like, are you getting the memo yet, guys? It's a big ask. It's a big ask, and I know change is hard, but it is the beginning of the school year, whether you go to school or not. You went to school, so you know how September feels. You know that feeling, and it's not just back to school, it's Virgo. Okay, like of course Virgo is back to school vibes because Virgo is our organizer. Virgo's perfectionist. Virgo needs it a certain type of way. And with this kind of energy, it's like, use it. Use it to be more discerning, not to shit on yourself. Okay? Like be gentle. Be gentle. Ooh, guys, look at what card I pulled. The Fates. The Fates. Because the nodes of fate. Because eclipse season. Because what if whatever is happening to you right now is supposed to happen? What if you believed that? Absolutely. What if you trusted that all the time? Then good, bad, or ugly, whatever is going on with you, you could trust that it's meant for you. So pick it up. That's what the fates say. Pick it up. Don't disown it. Don't escape it. Don't write a story about it that isn't true. Hold it. Hold what's happening to you right now as part of your own divine path and allow it to move you. Yes. May you be moved this week. May I be moved this week. May you be moved to share me all over the place and book me for a reading and get out there. Get me out there. So that my fate can change, huh? Because we're all part of a collective. We're all doing this together. And I ask it almost every single podcast now because I believe in you and I also believe in me. And that's how we turn up the volume on our life. And that's how we invite beautiful things to happen. I'll leave you with this. My therapist, yes, I have one. Are you shocked? Invited me because I am a writer and I usually write more complex, deep, possibly perceived as negative things. And she said, what if you used your writing to write happy ending stories for yourself? What if it all worked out in the things you wrote? And so I've been doing that. I've been writing my own happy endings. And it's interesting how I wonder if I write them long enough, how long it will take for them to come true. You guys ultimately are my happy ending. Sitting here and getting to speak to you is part of my happy ending. May it last, may it continue, and may you guys find your happy endings. I'll see you next week.